thing that I've been intrigued with is this idea of service-dominant logic. How many of you know what service-dominant logic is? Say, I bring knowledge from the West. Service-dominant logic says that everything that organizations do has a service base. That the product is not what's important, it's the service that is created and the service that is delivered. And if you think about it, we're moving more and more and more to a service economy. And by service economy, you are essentially spending more and more of your money to buy services and less of your money to buy products. Now, that being the case, service marketing is radically different because it's co-created. You and the customer create the value. It is not me making something, stacking it in the corner, and you coming and buying and pull it out. In a service situation, restaurants, hotels, all those kind of things, the relationship and the value is created not only by the marketer but by the customer. You don't get good service in a restaurant, you probably don't deserve it. So it's co-created value. And I think that's the area that we probably should be looking at going forward.
Is co-creation then something that maybe is a process that leads to a situation where we can say IMC, as we traditionally know it, is outdated? Because, let me explain, IMC, when I read most of the literature in this field, is about consistency, clarity, coherence, and to use another word starting with the C, it is about control, and control meaning in the sense that the organization is in control of all the communication processes. So the idea of shifting the control to the customers and the idea of involving him or her into the processes, of course, might lead to this interpretation. IMC today is outdated, right or wrong?
You're right. Next question.
I'm shocked.
No, you are right. You are right. I think what we are really talking about is we have to rethink these entire systems. Customers come into the marketplace holistically. They come in and say, I got some stuff over here, I got some things over there, I got something over here, I heard from you here, I looked at it in store, I did this, I did that. All of these things I found out about your company. And they look at you holistically. We look at them as what? Well, I'm going to send you some ads. And the people over here say, no, we're going to send them some social media. And then the guys over in the corner say, no, 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 we're not going to do that. We're going to give them a wonderful experience in the store. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We separate everything. Customers come into the marketplace holistically. We try to break them down so we can deliver the things that we want to do. You need to start with a holistic thought of who the customer is and where they get this information. That's why consumption is more important than distribution.
Yeah. What I
think I've convinced you now.
Yeah, of course you did. What I now want to do is...
I may want to baptize you before the night's over.
What I now want to do is, I go over to this notebook and I start just a presentation, but it's just one slide.
Oh, just one slide? Okay.
Just one slide.
Okay.
And the time I'm doing this, of course, you have to think about everything you've heard, and please, I know that you have not just one, you have more questions than one.
Clue Train Manifesto, yes, yes, yes.
1999.
Yep.
I just want to read it. A powerful global conversation has begun. Through the internet, people are discovering and inventing new ways to share relevant knowledge with blinding speed. As a direct result, markets are getting smarter and getting smarter faster than most companies. These markets are conversations. Their members communicate in language that is natural, open, honest, direct, funny, and often shocking. Whether explaining or complaining, joking or serious, the human voice is unmistakably genuine. It can't be faked. Most corporations, on the other hand, only know how to talk in the soothing, humorless, monotone of the mission statement, marketing brochure and your call is important to us, busy signal. Same old tone, same old lies. No wonder networked markets have no respect for companies unable or unwilling to speak as they do. This manifesto written in 1999. Well, is it still something that we can say about corporations today, 12 years after the publication?
I think we can say it, and I think we can say marketers have not listened. They're right. But you find me companies who have managed to make that change. There aren't very many of them. We're doing a project right now trying to find companies who have started on this journey and trying to find out how they got there, what the barriers were, and all those kind of things. I think what we've discovered is that organizations don't disagree with the portal site, and what they're doing now is they're moving into all kinds of new and different things, but they're doing it all on the basis of what do the customers want. What would customers like to have? We can develop it, we can do it. What do you want? Tell us, we'll help you with it. So what they're doing is they have figured out how to sell microeconomic swords on avatars by having you give me money, put it in your account, and then you draw on it so I can sell things for 2, 3, 4, 5 cents. You got a half a billion customers. You know, at some point that turns into money. And I think what's happened is we are, in the West, struggling to change these systems where, in essence, the Asian companies essentially are reinventing them and inventing them without all the baggage. And that's the difficult part.
Is this a cultural problem, a cultural mindset that prevents us from change?
Yeah, yeah. Remember, we're the smartest people in the world. We invented all this stuff. And you dummies out there in Asia don't understand how to do this, therefore you're wrong, except we can't accept the fact that they probably are doing it better than we are right now.
What about you?
Hello, I'm a student of the University of Applied Science, and you said at the end you would like to find a way to educate students the right way. But on the other hand, you said there is no way which is the right one. How can you do this?
Well, I think the thing we have to think about is, by and large, our educational system historically has been memorization and regurgitation, right? You come in, you listen to a professor, you write down all these things, and you write them down on the off chance that he'll ask it on the final exam. Not because you want to learn it, but what you're trying to do is, I'm trying to beat the system. What that says is, if you don't regurgitate what I told you, then you have not learned anything. That's not true. You have learned something. Maybe I asked the wrong question. And that's part of the issue. The other problem is we believe in our educational system that by and large the way you learn is you internalize this and we examine you to see if you have internalized it. If I have access to the internet, why do I need to memorize any of this stuff? I just go, oh, there's the formula. Why do I need to memorize it if I know where to go get it? What we ought to be doing is teaching you to be critical thinkers, not critical doers. And that's the problem with the education process, at least from my view. Now, a lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people say, oh, well, you know, you're bringing a biased view and that sort of thing. Yeah, that's true. But only a few people in the education area can get away with this. I'm retired, I'm tenured, I have my own income, and I have a consulting company. I don't have to worry about what the educators say, because I can, I think, break through and try to find different ways to do things. But my job is not as a teacher. My job is to help you learn. However,